How's it going, everyone? Reckless Yuki here, and in today's video what I'd like to do is test out the efficiency of the aftermarket cooler on the GTX 980 from EVGA, which is the ACX 2.0. And right here I have a GTX 980 superclocked from EVGA, and this does have the ACX 2.0 cooler on it. And the thing that I'm really interested about is the fact that this is a really nice cooler. I think it does a really good job, especially in my two-way SLI of keeping things cool. On the screen behind me, I have the Heaven test bench running, and it's running at 1440p because that's the max resolution it's capable of. But it does have everything set to max, and at a screen like this, it's running about 95% usage of the two GPUs that I have in there now. So it's definitely able to really work those GPUs to get a good temperature going. And right now, like, I think the max I saw after running this for about 20 minutes was about 62 degrees Celsius on the first card and 54 degrees Celsius on the second card. So a good amount of a difference, but there's plenty of space in between the cards, so it does have plenty of airflow going. But the thing that I'm kind of worried about when putting in a third GPU, because I really want the 4K performance of my computer to be absolutely awesome, and I kind of have a little bit of difficulties playing 4K with some of the games, especially with just two GPUs, but I think the third one will definitely assist me. And the thing that I've been holding off on putting this in for so long, I've been sitting on this for about, I think, 3 weeks now, and I've been holding off on putting this in because I'm not sure how well this cooler will handle if it's put in sandwiched like a 3 SLI setup where they're right next to each other. And I did I searched up for plenty of reviews online trying to figure out if someone's already done this, but I haven't really had much luck, especially with this sort of a cooler. But I did find plenty of people referencing that the reference cooler is a lot better in those situations because it takes air in from the front with the single fan and pushes all the hot air in the back, unlike these where they just kind of throw hot air all over inside the case. So I'm kind of curious to know how well this will perform in a three-way setup, and that's what we're going to focus on today's video, is putting this in there and seeing how well it's going to perform as far as my heat temperatures. And like I said again, with the spacing in between the two GPUs now, the max is about 62 and 54 degrees Celsius. And then also with this, since this doesn't have a backplate for the PCB, I purchased one of these, which is going to be a backplate that has little vents on it. So hopefully this will kind of help keep a little bit of distance between the fans of the other cards and the back of this one, so that it can actually cool. And the two cards I have in there now already have one of these installed, and these are advertised to keep things about a few degrees cooler. That's what they say, so we'll see if it helps at all. As long as I'm able to keep the cards less than 80 is my goal. The max of these cards is 98 degrees, is which I found on the NVIDIA site, I believe. I searched it up a few weeks ago, but 98 degrees is the max, and I would like to try to keep it below 80 if possible. I mean, if it gets up to 80, that's fine. And the way that I have the fan curves on here, I set up a custom profile where the fans on the cards will start spinning at 20 degrees Celsius, which is nothing, but they max out, they spin at 100% once it gets up to 80 to try to kind of keep this below or at 80 as close as possible. So that's the kind of fan curvature I picked, just so it kind of like gives a little bit of a reference as far as how I'm setting it up so that it is able to keep things cool with an air-cooled environment. And then as far as my case, I'm not sure if you guys are able to see it. Let's move this up. And so this is my Corsair Air 540, and in the front here, I have three 120mm fans, the Noctua PCP or PPC, that are able to spin up to 3,000 RPM, so they get loud, but that's fine. Usually when I game, I'm not really concerned with how loud it is because I game with a headset, so it doesn't really affect me very much. And whenever I want to talk into a mic, I have my Heil PR40, which does a really good job of keeping all outside noise away, and it only really picks up my voice. So as far as the the loudness of my PC doesn't really affect me too much. So I know it's a big deal for some of you guys out there, but for me personally, it doesn't. So that's why I'm able to keep things air-cooled, except for the CPU, which has the all-in-one cooler installed, the all-in-one water cooler. Now, another thing that I've been holding off on this for is because I was really looking into doing a custom water cooling loop, having the CPU and the 3 GPUs all in there, but with all the parts priced out and how I wanted to go about it, it was going to cost me about $1,300. So that kind of made me hesitate a lot as far as whether I wanted to pull that trigger or not. So I decided what I'll do is just put this in there and see how well the ACX 2.0 cooler does. So anyways, I think I rambled on enough. I think I already explained everything as far as what I'm looking at, how I'm testing, and the kind of a little bit about my PC, so you guys are kind of aware as far as the air cooling. I definitely have plenty of airflow going through the to the components. There isn't really much anything blocking air from the 120mm fans to go to the graphics cards to go out through the back. So hopefully that is everything I need to explain. And now what we'll do is just change the camera orientation, unbox this, open it up, install the back plate, and then put this in the system, and then we'll get into running the Heaven test bench with the 3-way SLI setup, and hopefully everything works well and it's able to kind of register that I have the 3 cards installed in there. Anyways, that's enough of me talking for this segment. We'll get into installing things, all right? So hopefully you guys enjoy, and stay tuned. All right, the 3 GPUs are now installed. I had Heaven running for about 30 minutes now, just to make sure that I could see how temperatures would be affected with the 3 GPUs stacked in side by side, really close. So there's not really much room like there was before. So I was a little bit worried, especially when I was putting it in there, because it was such a tight fit. But the temperatures don't look too bad, especially with being air cooled. Before, the temperatures were like 62 degrees Celsius and 54. Now I'm seeing about an average of, I guess for the first one, it's about 78 degrees. Second is about 72 is the highest I've seen. And the third somehow managed to be a little bit cooler. So it's about steady at 51, 52-ish. So about 2 degrees cooler than it was doing. Now the noise of it, I mean, it's definitely pretty audible, because with the higher temperatures, I'm hitting about 90% fan usage with the way that I set the curves around. So, I mean, it's definitely a lot more noticeable with noise, but that's okay with me, because like I said, before the transitions and stuff, I usually game with a headset, so I don't really game with the actual speakers. So I usually use these to kind of make sure I get some nice surround, and it makes sure it doesn't disturb anyone, and the neighbors won't yell at me when I have games going too loud. So far I do like the performance that it's showing me. Another thing that's really cool with the 3 GPUs is, before with the 2 GPUs with Heaven set at the max settings, my percentage of usage was around like 95 to 98 for the really heavy scenes, but now it kind of peaks around, I'm seeing like 70 to about 74-ish is the percentage usage that I've seen with the 3 GPUs. So I definitely have a lot more headroom now with the 3 GPUs than I did with only the 2. So that's definitely a big bonus, and I can't wait to start trying this out with the games I've been having a little bit of trouble with at 4K. So hopefully they will be able to perform a little bit better, and hopefully I get closer to that 60 frames per second, so I can really utilize the G-Sync and the fact that it's a 60 hertz monitor. So I really like to try to use it to its potential. So hopefully that will make things a little bit better for my gaming situation. Hopefully also with the shadow play recording, hopefully I could get some actual 4K recording with a setup. I don't know, I have to still test that out, but this was just the main focus of it. I just wanted to test out the coolers to make sure that the coolers would be able to cool the GPUs when it's on heavy load without reaching maximum temperatures, and it's well below 98 degrees, so well below the TJ Max. So I think I'm good, and I could just keep it like this. Now in the summer, I might have to change it up and maybe really look into a water cooling unit. But like I said, I think I said it in the previous, I can't remember now because it's been so long, but that's going to cost me about $13.50 for all the parts I selected, and I really wanted some premium parts, and that's without fans. I just plan on using the fans I already had, so that's just like the 2 radiators, the tubing, the fittings, the compression fittings, not the bar, but I decided to go with compression because they look nicer, and then the pump and reservoir, even the fluid. All of that was going to be about $1,300, $1,350. So that's just a lot of money to spend on water cooling, especially now. Maybe in the future I might consider it, and I'll see how the temperatures go when it gets more closer to the summer months. But that's where I'm at now. That's my test of the ACX 2.0 cooler on the GTX 980s. All right, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully this helps some of you guys if you're looking for something like this, or if you're just curious, hopefully you found it interesting. Please leave a rating on the video, and I'll talk to you guys again in the next video. All right, bye-bye.